The real argument here is not about whether or not this person is sincerely a terrorist or deserved this death, or actually the cops or the ICE agents were ever in fear for their lives. The real argument is, how dare you speak out against ICE, which is an expression of the justified violence that my favorite president is bringing to this country. That's it. She talked back and she deserves to be killed, and I wish I could kill her myself, is the attitude that these people have. I, Jonathan Ross, am going to kill someone today. I'm excited, right? I'm excited to go and murder a white mother today for ICE and for my president, Donald Trump. And Republicans that are in the MAGA cult will still look at this and go, this doesn't mean anything. Like, it is a new point of depravity. Let's just take a look at the video first, and then I'll go into it. There's obviously no gore in this, but because you can't really see, because like when he's shooting, he just like puts his phone down for that moment. He never really drops his phone or anything, which I think, as we were talking about again, is another point to the fact that he was not in fear for his life or anything. Like, he wasn't sincerely worried about his life. He just, got a kill there. He panicked in that moment and just started shooting. So he gets out of his car. This is Jonathan Ross's POV. He gets out of his car. The car, this red car, is the Honda Pilot that belongs to Renee Good. In the back seat of the red car that belongs to Renee Good is Renee's, okay? He first rolls up. She's very clearly initiating, like, reversing here, because we've seen this video. We've seen this footage from the other angle. She's very clearly reversing here.
That's fine, dude. That's fine, dude. I'm not mad at you.
She says, that's fine, dude. I'm not mad at you. Smiling, interacting. You can see his visage. You can see Jonathan Ross's image as he is filming the entire camera. No, she had reversed at this point. She's not reversing it. No, she's reversing. Look. Look. She's looking behind. Wheels are turned. From her side, the wheels are turned to the left. She is indicating a reversal, right? She reverses. She reverses. This is the first reversal that we saw. Okay? She's smiling. Renee Goods, in her last moments, is smiling and looking at her murderer, Jonathan Ross, and saying, it's fine.
I'm not mad at you.
It's fine, dude. I'm not mad at you. You can literally see her plushies from this camera angle, okay? In her glove compartment box, there's a dog in the back of the car.
I'm not mad at you. Show your face. I'm not mad at you. That's okay. We don't change our plates every morning, just so you know. It'll be the same plate when you come talk.
This is, from what I understand, I think this is her partner, right?
Talk to us later. That's fine. U.S. citizen, former.
U.S. citizen, former what?
Fine. U.S. citizen, former.
I don't know what she says, but this is her partner. This is her wife, former veteran.
You want to come at us? You want to come at us?
He switches his hands.
I said go get yourself some lunch, big boy. Go ahead.
Out of the car. Get out of the car.
So she tries to get in the car. She's reversing, right? Former veteran. While her partner's trying to get into the car from the other door, the doors are locked. She starts reversing and starts moving to get out of the way, okay? With all these people coming in, like as soon as the other ICE agents roll up, you can't see it from this angle, obviously. And you can kind of see it right here.
Get out of the car. Get out of the car.
Door lock because she shifted the drive, probably an auto locking mechanism, right? And you can only hear the 3 gunshots. The truly evil right-wing hogs are looking at this video, okay? And I don't know if there's like a cut here or not, but the right-wing hogs are looking at, I think this is the full video, or at least like the important part of the full video that he filmed. And they are trying to say that from this angle, it shows that she was clearly trying to kill him. You can straight up see the car turning away from him.
Get out of the car.
Can you apologize now? Apologize to what? If you think that this is proof that she was trying to, she's a terrorist who's trying to murder this ICE agent, you are dumber than dirt. Not only are you dumber than dirt, if you look at this video, and see anything but an ICE agent who has hurt feelings and is quick draw McGraw, pulls his gun out, clearly never even remotely in a situation where his life is threatened at all, just pulls his gun out, he's pissed off, and he just unloads. If you see anything but that, you are out of your mind. Also, I don't know why we only hear 2 shots in this video. Yeah, people who understand flopping when they talk about NBA or when you fake a foul in soccer have no concept of this in this moment. Cool story, man. You're right, dude. I wish all of your mothers will experience a similar thing then, and then maybe then you will understand. Okay, state-sponsored execution. We'll still obviously fight against it every step of the way, but I don't think a lot of you hogs are ever gonna understand until it happens to you, until it happens to a loved one. I don't think you're ever going to comprehend what took place here. You're just incapable of seeing it, and I know for a fact that you're incapable of seeing it, even though you're inconsistent in your process, because as soon as I say, oh, well, I hope it happens to a loved one for you, you'll turn around and say, wow, this is a death threat. Why would this be a death threat? Why would this be a death threat? It's perfectly valid, right? It's perfectly legal. You're defending it as being perfectly legal. So which one is it? If it's a perfectly legal situation, you'll defend it if it happens to your mother too. If you are ever in the vicinity of a cop, vicinity of an ICE agent, and he gets off and decides to shoot your parent, you have to defend it. You have to sit there and defend it. We won't. That tried to run him over, didn't she? Okay, I think we're getting an influx of baboon brain in the chat today. I am in Ukrainian armed forces, still here. I've responded. Thanks, bro. Morale is okay. I can speak only about special drone forces. What about Epstein files? Americans forgot about this case. Incredible. Incredible stuff. I guess hog universality is once again proven right here. Adam Cocker says this seems to be the agent's own footage showing clearly he was not a threat or blocked in and was focused on filming. He walked in front of her vehicle. She turned away to drive past him and accelerated after he drew his weapon. And they are literally looking at the situation. Their families are all bootlickers. They throw their family into the gunfire if they go against their deranged thought process. Someone says he called her a bitch at the end. Oh yeah, he does. He says, Hassan, yesterday you were talking about how people are finally waking up, and now today you're saying they won't understand until it finally happens to them. No, there are plenty of people. There are plenty of people who are waking up to this reality. It's just not happening on the internet, and it's not happening on Twitter, and it's certainly not happening on Twitter adjacent communities like Twitch. You need to understand that it is happening. You're just not seeing it right here. Like normies that see this kind of stuff are not on board with it. I promise you. Like normies, if you put this in front of otherwise like out of touch wine moms that don't really care, that like the Disney adults, the wine moms, the right wing churchgoers and stuff like that don't really pay attention to the news, when you see something like this and you see the way that people are talking about this person, okay, the way that people are talking about this person in the car that got killed, it comes across as gross to the normies. But you rarely ever see that shit on the internet because it's mostly not normies that are talking about it on the internet. It's brain broken monsters that are talking about it on the internet in terms that you see. Renee Good's last words that you can see in the video quite literally are, "That's fine, dude. I'm not mad at you." You want me, these guys want us to believe that this woman is a terrorist.
That's fine, dude. I'm not mad at you.
These were her last words, man. These were her last words. They want us to believe that the ICE agent was not power tripping and in a moment of panic unloaded 3 shots from close range onto this person, and all of these other people are trying to engage in post hoc rationalizations as to why the state-sanctioned murder was totally fine. They want you to think she's the threat. Hassan's arguments are only based on emotion. She was trying to run him over clear as day. My arguments are not based on emotions. You are just trying to cope by presenting yourself as like this autistic sociopath when you actually aren't. You're just a moronic child who wants to just see death and destruction in the country and can't comprehend that you could just as easily be in the crosshairs, or one of your loved ones could just as easily be in the crosshairs. That's it. Because you've warped your brain. You've developed CTE by being on Twitter too much and watching too much Asmongold and other right-wing influencers, and have completely lost sight of reality. You no longer have self-preservation skills. You no longer understand that in order for America to continue being a society, we must repair the social fabric. And power-tripping cops like this being defended is actually disruptive to the social fabric. And in an anarchist situation, you will not be the one who will be and pillaging, okay? BlackRock, Blackwater, and Blackstone mercenaries will be the ones who will be and pillaging and drinking blood out of your skull, okay? You think in an anarchist style, in an anarcho-capitalist style, complete bedlam society, that you will somehow change your position in society. You are already a peasant. You're a peasant now. What makes you think that in a total collapsed American society that you will somehow be able to change your position, elevate it somehow? You're a loser who spends all of his every waking moment sitting in a basement with the lights off, posting on the internet anonymously, trying to spread the pain that you feel from the monotony of existence every single day. What makes you think that if the tide shifts and there's full-blown anarchy and the social fabric falls apart, that you will somehow magically win? You will not. You will not. Your life is right now. And as the social fabric unwinds, it will be even Lol, the stunlock he went on based on a small comment. What a winky face. I know. I'm not mad. You're mad. This is the poster's cope. The final cope of the poster, who knows that they're such rapacious losers that, oh, well, at least I got you upset. Yeah, listen to the words that are coming out of my mouth and maybe you'll be able to comprehend what I'm saying, okay? What I'm saying is what you are advocating for is your own demise without even realizing that you're advocating for your own demise. You can call me a all you want. My face is out there. I go outside in the streets. You don't. You don't participate in society. You're an American hikikomori. You sit around in your home molding, crusty as hell. And because your life is, you think maybe I can spread this horrifying pain that I experience on a daily basis to others by justifying state-sanctioned murder. I don't have any loved ones, so who gives a fuck? This is quite literally the modus operandi of so many Americans now. It is devastating. It is a devastating reality where so many people just sit around and they can't even, so many people sit around and experience pain on a daily basis, and instead of engaging in self-improvement, they decide to piss people off. In any case, like I said already, a society that justifies state-sanctioned murder like this and tries to section off, to cordon off who is appropriately in the crosshairs and who's pulling the trigger in this way cannot continue. We can't continue like this. You got to rewatch the FD video or something because you're not even, you got to rewatch the FD video or something because you're not even educating or convincing at this point. You're taking your anger out on a terrible chatter. You do it every single stream, and it's right. Your ego is a constant derailment to your coverage. All right, take a week off or maybe multiple weeks off. Do you not also feel the same level of anger that I feel when you have someone that comes in here to justify what we're experiencing, what we're seeing? Like, there is a moment for righteous anger. I think this is it. It's justified. If you're not mad in this situation, when you're watching people try to justify this in a way that doesn't even help them, I don't know what to tell you. Now you're derailing the chat because now I'm actually responding to you instead of talking about this. I sync the new audio too from the bystander. Yeah.
I said go get yourself some lunch.
Like, when people say around and find out, what they're talking about is you're not supposed to offer lip to anyone that presents themselves as a position of authority. That's what they are saying around and find out about. It's not that the real argument here is not about whether or not this person is sincerely a terrorist or deserved this death, or actually the cops or the ICE agents were ever in fear for their lives. The real argument is, how dare you speak out against ICE, which is an expression of the justified violence that my favorite president is bringing to this country. That's it. She talked back and she deserves to be killed, and I wish I could kill her myself, is the attitude that these people have. It's not even just like bootlicking, I think, for a lot of people. And I saw someone unintentionally reveal their own personal pathological frustrations, this psychosexual frustrations that they have when someone posted a photo of Renee Good and said, "Oh, this woman is the exact same type of person that has like smugly said no to me my whole life." I'm sure you guys might have seen that. Like there was a guy who very clearly revealed, like, he's just mad at everyone that has wronged him in his life. Every SJW woman that has wronged him. And then this is it. Great point. If a killer can walk free, let's let Tyler Robinson go free too. Also, these people then turn around and talk about like a assassination in the hands of like a random person and state-sanctioned violence. Okay, they genuinely think it's always appropriate if a cop kills someone or if an ICE agent kills someone. That's the problem here. For many people that look at this video and seek to justify what took place, they can't comprehend that Renee Good could have been their parent. Renee Good could have been their neighbor that has a political disagreement with them every now and then, but still, is kind and makes cookies for them. They see Renee Good as a woman that has wronged them at some point in their lives. So they look for a way to justify it. They look for a way to justify and defend this. I'm going to play this part one more time. Her last words to her murderer was,
That's fine, dude. I'm not mad at you.
"That's fine, dude. I'm not mad at you."
That's fine, dude. I'm not mad at you. Show your...
What he said about her in the aftermath of executing her in broad daylight, he called her her last words to him was, "That's fine, dude. I'm not mad at you." His last words after shooting her was, people that try to say that this is this assessment is like emotional or whatever are idiotic, because the clinical assessment here that I gave from the start is exactly the same. You're obviously not going to be able to see the exact movement of the car from this footage, because this footage is a first-person POV that is liable to look like, when you move your phone around, when you're filming something, if you've ever actually dropped your phone on accident, or if you move your phone around, it looks a lot more impactful than it actually is. Okay? So I think a lot of people are leaning into the loud noises that they hear from him pulling his gun out as he steps back, but while leaning forward, his upper body is leaning forward to get a clearer sight on this woman that has pissed him off, that has wronged him in that moment, where he's going to show his righteous rage, trying to pull out his gun.
Oh!
Iraq veteran, who some people are saying is actually unironically married to a Filipino woman too. Another one of these libertarian guys with Filipino wives, an ICE agent now, which is so crazy. He wanted to upset her. Her saying she wasn't mad made him so angry he murdered her. This is the obvious result of the level of misogyny that's being allowed to fester in this country. It's just like, it's the lack of accountability that these guys have. It's the constant feeling of domination that they want to engage in. All it takes is feeling small in a brief moment. If you cannot comprehend how this exact same incident will play itself out over and over again all around the country, and it can just as easily happen to one of your loved ones, I don't know what to tell you. Any that's angry can take out their daily anger. Any that's mad about any number of different things can take out their anger on one of your loved ones like this. The video doesn't show anything new regarding him being at fault, doesn't change any of the analysis done by Washington Post or New York Times, just adds more viciousness from him. How are people using this to justify it more now? It doesn't matter. For a lot of people who are already dead set on defending it because they downloaded the talking points from the admin, they were dead set on defending this, and they are going to continue defending it. They will never, because the administration is not actually taking their foot off the gas pedal here, and they're not doing the classic thing that they normally would do, which is, I guess I guess this was a bad apple. Because like in the past, that's how they used to operate, right? They would turn around and say, well, guys, obviously this is just a bad apple. This doesn't mean that all ICE is bad, all ICE is wrong, any of that stuff. They would just say like, oh, this is just one guy. Come on. Like, justice will be served. Let justice be served. They're not doing that this time around. They're not even doing the bad apple narrative, which already is like busted, right? It's one bad apple spoils the bunch. We already know that. They are just leaning into it because I think in this current media environment, they've realized like there are no punishments, or at least they think there are no punishments. And if the Democrats don't actually figure out that they are the ones who are actually supposed to punish these bad actors, then the Republicans will be right. There won't be any punishments at all. I know you've been covering this topic for the past few days, but not sure if you covered the U.S. quietly pulled out of 66 UN and international organizations while this news was dominating the media. Yes, I am aware of it. I didn't cover it today, or I haven't covered it yet. I'll get to it eventually. I mean, it's not that significant. It's another push from American foreign policy, very openly moving away from soft power initiatives, because these are all UN and international organizations that we started, that we funded, they're moving away from soft power to hard power only. Trump is basically just saying the quiet part out loud every single day. And it's a real wake-up moment, I think, for liberals who will either have to come to terms with whether or not they agree with unlimited imperialism and unlimited force projections all around the world, or if no, it's not even isolationism. This is not isolationism. You're misunderstanding it. This is not isolationism at all. How can you say that this administration is engaging in isolationism when they're very clearly doing intervention, direct intervention? This is more so about manicuring said foreign policy. In the past, we created an entire network of both media apparatus and also like soft power initiatives to make it seem as though we were the world police for good. We were actually liberalizing the world. We were fighting against the ideological forces of the Soviets, socialism, communism, dangerous ideas, dangerous ideas that did not represent democracy and the democratic values that we believe in. And that was the intellectual liberal patina that you associated with American imperialism. It made it much harder to actually criticize it from an anti-imperialist perspective. And Donald Trump is saying, I'm doing away with all of that. Intervention is never going to stop. I'm just going to say the quiet part out loud. And that's precisely the reason why you see a lot of liberals failing to comprehend why this is happening. Why is Donald Trump saying these things? Matt Iglesias being one of the latest. Anyway, let's continue with this and I'll get back to it. basically what a lot of people are failing to comprehend here on the right, that there will never be any repercussions for leaning into this kind of like abject cruelty. They don't realize that losing sight of your own humanity, a lack of recognition for the humanity of others, and thinking that you can ideologically partition society and justify state-sanctioned murder of this sort, I don't think it's going to be successful. Your entire argument for the past 2 days has fallen apart in front of your eyes. How do you justify that? Unfortunately for you, and unfortunately for American society in general, this is another break-off point where it's another filter, just like Nick Shirley's video was another filter. People can look at something, and if they already are primed, if they're already primed to believe that this was totally justified, no matter what amount of evidence that you can see with your own two eyes, they will continue to say, no, I was right, see? And that's the reason why they go into all these other separate arguments that are utterly irrelevant in this situation, like celebrating Charlie Kirk's murder but losing your minds because an ICE agent got hit during a federal operation. The hypocrisy is actually bottomless. You run into hypocrisy narratives because you've already lost the argument on the grounds you cannot justify this action, and you kind of realize you can't justify this action, which is why you have to go to like, well, everyone was celebrating Charlie Kirk. Why can't we celebrate this like random white lady getting shot in the face by an ICE agent? Go have a conversation with a normal adult, okay? A normal adult that doesn't care maybe about Charlie Kirk one way or another, okay? But will get mad about this situation because they can put themselves in the shoes of this person, whereas many people can't empathize with Charlie Kirk's position in society. Also, the notion that everyone was instantly celebrating Charlie Kirk's murder is ridiculous, especially considering that the overwhelming amounts of Kirkification memes and things like that came after the Republican administration tried to martyr Charlie Kirk, tried to make him out to be a martyr with all the flares, with all the wrestling intros, with Erica Kirk's inability to read the room. It was a response to all of that. Charlie Kirk was a public figure with many people who liked him and a lot more people who despised him. This is a random neighbor, okay? And also, look at how ridiculous this standard is, too. There was not a single Democratic politician that celebrated, even to this day, celebrated Charlie Kirk's assassination. As a matter of fact, many of them voted to like revere him and honor him, which I thought was stupid. I was against that. Those are two separate things. I think like hyping up Charlie Kirk is entirely different than like, not celebrating his death, right? You don't have to celebrate his death. Whitewashing his background and leaning into the narrative that he was a force for good, all that stuff was ridiculous. I never stood for that, okay? But that's about ideological disagreements. Having said that, notice that the standards are so out of whack where you're mad about people posting TikTok memes about Charlie Kirk after the administration tried to turn him into a horsed vessel versus the vice president and the president calling a random lady a domestic terrorist. There is no equivalence between random TikTokers celebrating Charlie Kirk months after the administration tried to turn, like the administration came after everybody who was even like posting Charlie Kirk quotes to be like, I don't think he was that good of a guy. Like he shouldn't have been killed, but I don't think he was that good of a guy. After months and months of that, people actually responded with the Kirkification memes to the president, the vice president, the secretary of the Department of Homeland Security, immediately calling her a domestic terrorist and justifying her death. You're out of your mind. You have no leg to stand on. There is no civility argument that any Republican can ever make. You can never make a civility argument. You are uncivil. You're a animal. You're a disgusting animal. I am not a very civil person, by the way. You can come to me and you can yell at me all day. I'm not a very civil person at all. As a matter of fact, a lot of libtards get mad at me too for not being a civil person. But let's be real. Liberals, by and large, for the most part, have been unimaginably civil, perhaps to a fault. And Republicans still turn around and try to create this alternative reality where they're making it seem like Nancy Pelosi is like, yeah, you know, talking about how Charlie Kirk was like a dangerous terrorist that deserved to be murdered in the way that J.D. Vance did about this lady. Nothing but projection. Perhaps this is the reason why in the overwhelming majority of political violence that takes place on U.S. soil, it's more often than not a right-winger killing another right-winger because they dominate this discourse so much and they already control all the levers of power that they have to release their anxiety, and sometimes they end up shooting one another. It's crazy. I guess these guys, at least the ones who are defending this stuff, don't even care when it's a Christian white woman that's being killed, you know? They can't even stand on that. It turns out they just want death and destruction of what they perceive as the enemy. And who the enemy is can change it at a given moment. It just depends on who was in the vicinity of an ICE agent. And what a lot of these guys that come in here to try to understand my position, or without actually understanding my position, immediately go, "Oh, you got owned, loser. This POV actually changes everything." It didn't change anything. Your position didn't change, and neither did mine. If anything, my position is hardened, and so has yours. But what you don't understand, what you do not understand here, can happen to you as well. One day, you or one of your loved ones can find themselves in the crosshairs of an ICE agent who's having a bad day. What you don't realize is that you are justifying your own demise right now. You're creating permission for the state to come and kill you, for the state to have awesome power, unlimited power, and no accountability to come knock down your door and kill you. And while you're busy fighting against your fellow man, fighting against people on ideological boundaries, you are creating an opportunity. You are diminishing any sort of response that should be coming from you as well as everyone else to tell this government that this is completely unacceptable. You are so lost. You are so lost in this biased way that you don't even recognize that this will harm you down the line because you think it won't. If you're watching on Twitch, you're not a billionaire, okay? If you're watching me on Twitch in an anonymous account, you're a regular person. Sure, maybe you don't go outside too much, but you're a regular person at the end of the day. You have a regular mom, you have a regular dad, you have sisters, you have loved ones, you have neighbors. You are advocating for the state to come and shoot them in the face, and then you will justify it. I heard someone describe the videos of Renee Good's last moments as a political Rorschach test or an ink blot test, and it fits so perfectly. Exactly. If you look at this situation, if you look at no matter how many pieces of camera footage you get out of this, if you look at this situation and you find yourself justifying it, if you look at the circumstances here and you find yourself going, nah, this is actually totally justifiable, around and find out, you're lost. Hassan is actually in full cope mode right now. Yeah, I know. I'm totally coping. You can't argue on the basis. You can't argue on the facts. You can't even recognize that this might actually harm you later down the line as well. So you have to go, oh, my least favorite Twitch streamer is coping right now. You have to imagine that I'm coping. I'm not coping. I'm warning. I'm warning you. I'm dignifying you with a response. I am trying to recognize your humanity. I'm trying to tell you there is a shared consensus reality that we need to get back to. One where you recognize that a state that does this to Renee Good will inevitably do it to you or a loved one, and everyone around you that you have, everyone around you that you've identified as your allies, your ideological allies, will be saying, look around and find out in the same exact way. I'm urging you to understand that you need to pull out of this before it gets to that point. Because at that point, who knows how many people will remain on your side? Who knows how many people will be able to take it to the fucking streets? It's simply not worth trying to engage with these people to appeal to empathy. If they haven't now, I doubt they ever will. No, that's not what I'm doing. I'm not even just talking about empathy. I'm talking about self-preservation. Because even if you don't have empathy, most people are at least not dumber than dirt. Like, even an animal has self-preservation, right? I'm trying to help people understand that what they are justifying here, what they're advocating for here, is going to inevitably harm them as well. That's it. This has happened throughout history. If you don't fight for others right now, and recognize your shared humanity here, recognize that you are not going to be spared in the future because you are not a billionaire, okay? You weren't on the Epstein flight logs. You're not one of Donald Trump's buddies. The state does not give a about you. The faster you recognize that, you're not Israel. You're not the glorious nation state of Israel, okay? You're not one of Jeffrey Epstein's Lolita Express clients. You're just a random dude on the internet. You're not a part of the team. If one bad day for an ICE agent is all it takes for this state to call the victim a terrorist, and you're participating in that, you're cooked. You're cooked. People love to say, oh, it's not left versus right, it's up versus down. Oh, it's us versus them. But they unironically fall so quickly back into the same ideological boundaries when moments like this happen.